I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Oh, welcome in, welcome in. No, you don't have to drag us out because we're here. We're here doing the Thom Abraham Show. This is Chad Gwathney, Coach Grizz coming at you. Behind the glass, Bailey Crash Lowry over there running the boards, filling in for the big dog as he's finishing up, hanging out with the JYB for a whole week. As it's kind of someone's calling me right now. Oh, my little brother's calling me right now. Caden, I'm doing a show, man. I'm pulling a Thom right. This is like literally Thom-esque right here.
Yeah.
Where your family members are calling you during a show. Buddy, I'll get back to you in a second, man, when we go to break. But yeah, we're filling in for the Thom Abraham Show. Kind of just hanging out, filling out this last day. Just kind of, taking over the reins, filling in the big dog's shoes. Of course, I'm going to be gone all next week, so enjoy that and enjoy Thom Abraham as Bailey is going to be taking over the boards for that week as well, I believe. It's probably going to be a combination of people, I think.
I think it might
Maybe
be
it's just you.
It might be a combination. It might be just me.
Might be you. Might be John. Who knows?
Hey, strap in. You're about to get a whole other week of me. Or maybe
sure,
a little Captain Cool too.
Captain Cool's probably going to be here because you know Tom's going to be. Because the thing is I wonder what'll happen. Is John going to come here and do the show while Thom is back at his office doing the show? Do you think that's going to happen, or do you think John might have his own? Maybe they'll have two microphones in Tom's office and they'll do it together.
They might have two mics, or maybe they might want to throw him behind the board, see what he's got.
I mean, he has trained him behind the board. He knows what he's doing.
True.
I think he's spent a little bit more time than you have, but he hasn't done it to the extent of what you've been doing. Like, he hasn't been taking over the show completely. Like, I'm basically throwing you into the fire, basically. You know what I mean? So it should be okay, to be honest. But let me get the particulars out. Make sure you go follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. We don't have a video camera up right now because I left the camera at home, and the other camera was live this morning from Metro Diner with Talking Balls. So you got to watch that on the screen, but you can listen to us and technically watch/listen to the show as you want, as we do have the Thom Abraham graphic up throughout the entire show. We're also going to probably cut it a little short and give you a best of Thom. Since we're so close to SEC Media Day, we thought that we would play Thom's conversation with Greg Sankey as really the latest breaking news from yesterday right after the show. USC and UCLA are moving to the Big Ten. So we thought it would be really cool to kind of, recap of basically what happened during SEC Media Day last year of when Texas and Oklahoma announced that they were going to the SEC. That is way bigger news than I feel like the news. I mean, maybe so much USC, and maybe I'm not thinking more outside of football with these two teams, because UCLA is going to add, even USC is going to add great depth in the basketball programs, softball, baseball. I mean, there's going to be those types of things where you don't have a lot of Big Ten baseball. You know what I mean? Not a lot of those teams have a team. So a lot of the teams in that conference have a team. So having those two teams also added to that as well is going to be huge. So when I look at, USC and UCLA saying that they're going to begin play in the conference in 2024, I don't know if it is a big enough. I just don't know. I think USC, but I don't know. But it's LA. You know what I mean? It's LA. It's California going to, up north where it's absolutely cold. And I don't know how much better this is going to be. USC is going to be one of the top 3-4 teams in the Big Ten. Yeah. But UCLA is going to be like, when it comes to college football, it's going to be like bottom tier, if not middle. I don't know how much better they're going to be, especially when they go halfway across the country to go play, Rutgers or somebody that, where it's just absolutely cold, like Wisconsin, going to play Wisconsin or somebody. It's going to be absolutely cold.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be going to play in an environment that, I mean, like you're saying, they're not entirely used to. Like,
yeah, they practice when it's beautiful. You know what I mean? They can't it's not like they can try to somehow make cold weather happen over there where they can simulate that, unless they just go into like they go into like a closed facility and they turn it down to like 30 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not the same feel when you're used to practicing to that all the time. But I mean, these guys these are the top athletes, in college. These guys are going to be able to the coaches are going to be able to get them right. But I don't know if like these are the two. I get it. We're probably getting to the point where a lot of people don't agree. We're getting to the point where we're going to have 2 super conferences. We're going to have little NFL. I mean,
Little
it
NFL?
already pretty much is. Once it gets to the point of 2 conferences, it's going to get like that.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, and the way that they're paying players, the way the video came out with the Texas A&M assistant or whatever he was, telling players that guys up in those seats are going to be paying you, literally paying you, whether you hate it or not, whether you like it, it doesn't matter. It's still pretty messed up when we talk about scumbag. I won't use the other name, but I don't know. I hope that it doesn't come to 2 huge conferences. I hope it's like 2 huge conferences and then like maybe a couple more smaller ones or something. But I just don't know how you can get away from that if it's going to get to the point where like these 2 super conferences basically, because if like let's say the SEC takes Clemson or they take Duke or North Carolina, like a lot of people talk about, and then the Big Ten's like, well, I'm going to take so-and-so, 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 and then you make this huge 2 super conferences, they're going to be playing for the national title when we're going to have basically another, Division II champion. Is it going to be like, this lower and then, hey, this is another Division II title because all these other conferences or all these other, teams can't make their own a third super conference per se. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I mean, and also when we get to the point where the Big Ten, like the name just doesn't matter anymore. They're not 10 teams anymore.
Oh
they need to change the name at least. Like they're not consistent. When was the last time they had 10 teams?
It's gonna be the Big 16. There's gonna be.
But it's just gonna be the bigs.
The bigs. Yeah, that should be just the bigs. Just the bigs. Big or just big.
The SEC versus the bigs.
That's what it is on their thing. It's just big. You don't see the 10 so much. It just says big.
I didn't even know there was a 10 on there.
When they do their little logo, they do the Big 10. It's big, but the 1 and the 0 is like a G.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was a 16.
I know, right? It's getting to the point where it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna be Big 16. It's gonna be the SEC. I mean, you can't change the SEC. It's the SEC. You know what I mean? So, and it's gonna be the best conference, literally. And then we all have the situation with how the ACC is going to their scheduling format. Will the SEC follow suit? We don't know that. So, it's a lot of huge news that we're kind of reacting to. We're kind of just finishing up this Friday. So that's the reason why we wanted to break down that. We wanted to have you recap that video with Tom's conversation with Greg Sankey and just kind of get the language that was type of last year, because I think it was huge last year, obviously, because it came at SEC Media Day. It's the SEC. It's Texas and Oklahoma. You saw what Texas made a run in softball and in baseball this year. Ranked number 1 at one time in baseball. Made it to the College World Series. Softball as well with Texas. Made it all the way. And then you got Oklahoma, who won it in softball, who was right there playing Ole Miss for it all. So it's huge to see these 2 teams. You obviously know the history with football. You hope that the SEC, I mean, you're not going to hope. You just know that the SEC is going to continue the same success. And they're going to get, in the SEC, that's the thing is I feel like a lot of times the SEC reacts to a lot of things, but when they do react to a lot of things, they end up breaking the game. They end up breaking the world, where it's like, I mean, it's the SEC against the world, and the SEC is gonna get who they want. They're gonna get it's gonna get to the point where if it does become 2 super conferences, it's not gonna take any time at all for the SEC to get the certain teams that they want, and the certain, what if it got to the point where they take Duke, North Carolina, and then Clemson, Miami's like, hey, what about us? And then boom, you've got those, and then the ACC crumbles. Then you start picking out of the Big 12 for the Big 10, and the Big 12 crumbles. Then maybe the Pac-10 or maybe the Pac-12 and the Big 12 somehow merge and become a 4th conference. So now technically we've got 4 huge different conferences.
And then
of like 20 something teams.
Yeah, and then it's effectively the North versus the South in football and in college.
Yeah, we should just make it that. I mean, the South would destroy every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. If it was the South, I mean, I don't know.
No,
if the North
certainly
Conference
in football.
Yeah, of course in football. Yes, I don't know if the North could definitely destroy. If it was like split down the middle, I don't know. You'd have to like take certain teams, like technically, like you'd have to be like putting certain teams wherever. But I think, without a doubt, if it was like that in college football, the South would absolutely destroy.
I'll give it to us. They might have us in hockity.
Oh, I would think so.
Ohio State is nasty.
Not the Huntsville Havoc. Not the Huntsville Havoc. I'll give the Huntsville Havoc though.
Yeah.
We're literally the best in the South. I mean, it's literally the best like it's literally the best semi-pro venue you can go to. I mean, it is one of the most fun things. You don't even have to be a hockey fan. You can just go to you can just go to the Havoc game and have a wonderful time. And another thing you can have is at the Trash Pandas this weekend, of course. Once again, they're gonna have the Crawfish Bowl out there. I know we talked about it yesterday, but wanted to throw that down in there. So tomorrow, or it's at 4:00. So if you want to go hang out there as well, you can do that. So we kind of want to react to a lot of stuff that's going around the baseball world as well as we get closer to the All-Star break. It is July. So obviously, I was looking at the votes, the vote getters for everything. Obviously, Ronald Acuna is out at the moment. Don't know if he's going to be able to play it or not. We don't really know when he's going to come back. So him and of course, it happens to be Tom's favorite team and one of Tom's favorite players, Aaron Judge and Ronald Acuna, were the All-Star, leading vote getters. So they're immediately put into the starting lineup. So you got two outfielders on both sides. And then you get into phase 2, which then we start figuring out who's going to be out of the remaining picks, who's going to be the starter, who's going to be the backup, and then basically who, maybe you'll have like throughout. It's kind of like the Pro Bowl where if you got some injuries, obviously Ozzie Albies and Jazz Chisholm are both at second base. They both are the two that they're going to pick between. Albies isn't coming back till August. Jazz Chisholm went out Wednesday with an injury as well, with like a lower back injury. So I don't know who's going to actually start at that position. So I'd have to look. I don't have it in front of me, but I would have to look at who's 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the vote getting it, and who's going to be that replacement, that alternate. So you do have Ronald Acuna, but you also have five other Atlanta Braves that are going to, if not start, if not make the All-Star roster. So that's really good too. You've got Travis d'Arnaud at catcher. At first, this is the NL. It's either going to be Wilson Contreras or Travis d'Arnaud, and I think a lot of people want Contreras to happen because I'll get to it later in just a second. Because his brother is also in the DH spot as well, so it could actually. They both could end up starting. If not, they're both going to end up playing. They're both going to play in the All-Star game. At first base, you got Paul Goldschmidt and Pete Alonso. Paul Goldschmidt is a stud. I think he should win it. Pete Alonso is been doing great too. He's got 22 home runs, leading the NL. He's got more RBIs than anyone in the majors at 69. So I think that I think it's 1A, 1B. You could do it for sure. But yes. I would love to see Paul. I mean, I'm a big Goldie fan. I like Goldie more than I do Pete Alonso, but that's just because I'm a Braves fan and I absolutely despise the Mets.
I don't know. I'll probably say Alonso just because, I'm not even a fan of the Mets, but I just like that whole joke about the Mets.
Well, Goldie's Goldie's batting like 342. His on-base percentage is 424. The man has an NL slugging percentage of .630. So, it's he's good. You know what I mean?
I'm liking Alonso just because of the Mets joke, but Goldschmidt.
I would love to see Pete Alonso in the home run derby. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Goldschmidt
I'd love to see Goldschmidt in the home run derby. Are you kidding me?
But Goldschmidt just at the first base position, I think he deserves it over Alonso to be in the starting spot.
So second base, we really don't know who's going to play, or we don't really know who's going to start at second base. The crazy thing is how Fernando Tatis hasn't played since like the beginning of the year, right?
Right.
The man literally was like 5th in voting in the NL.
And he hasn't played.
And it's a straight popularity contest. Don't get me wrong. That's why I think Wilson Contreras is going to start over Travis d'Arnaud.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a straight popular. It's like the NBA All-Star game where it's not as bad though, because like the NBA one is because it's so small, it's so much smaller that like the NBA one, it's just straight popular. It is a straight popularity contest. It's not based off your performance in the year and everything like that. That's what kind of stinks is a lot of guys get stubbed more in the NBA than they do the Braves than the Braves do.
Yeah,
you hear my homerism, but then the MLB does. So it's just crazy. Third base, you got Manny Machado and Nolan Arenado. At shortstop, you got Trey Turner and Dansby Swanson. Now these are two shortstops that will be free agents. And you kind of hope that, it's as a Braves fan, you kind of hope it's Dansby Swanson. But Trey Turner's been hitting 309. He's got 11 homers. He's got 15 steals. But Swanson has hit 295. He's got 13 homers and 11 steals. So they're pretty much spot on. So depends on who's going to come out in that. I think the LA Nation's going to they're going to come out of the woodwork, I should say. Because I don't know many Dodgers fans, especially around here, but I know that they're very much bandwagon fans, and so Trey Turner's doing really well, and I can see that them pumping him up. I'm honestly surprised that Freddie wasn't higher in the first base category, but Pete Alonso and Goldie are just playing out of their minds. So I guess I could see that. In your outfield, you got Mookie Betts, Jock Peterson, Starling Marte, and Adam Duvall, who's been huge. I mean, Adam Duvall has been very, very good for the Braves, especially with Acuna being out, Albies being out. I mean, it's been huge because he's hit 8 home runs. He's hit 8 home runs since Albies been out on June 13th. I mean, it's huge what Adam Duvall has done, and then to be able to play, quality outfield as well, because you don't want Marcell Ozuna playing outfield at all, because like I said it before, he's an absolute liability in the outfield. And so Michael Harris too, man, he's been a stud. If I could give him an all-star vote for the short time that he's been there, I wonder if he could squeak by and somehow get in that outfield, but I really highly doubt it with already the talented outfield that they have in front of him. So designated hitter, Bryce Harper or William Contreras. Now, Bryce Harper might not be back, obviously. But I think it's actually cool that William Contreras is second in this for the designated hitter spot. He's hit 9 home runs, splitting DH and catcher. If him and his brother both end up on the NL squad, they'll be the first pair of brothers to make an all-star game in the same year since Brett and Aaron Boone in 2003. The last brothers to start an all-star game in the same year, do you know who that is?
I do not.
Sandy Alomar Jr. And Roberto Alomar. That was in 1992. So that'd be pretty cool. It's like that's the thing that I feel like they'll vote for, because I think William is going to win it. I think he's going to be the starting DH. I think he's going to win because if Bryce Harper can't come back.
Right.
Now, between d'Arnaud and Wilson Contreras, I think it's because it's more of a popularity contest. I don't know if Travis d'Arnaud is going to pop over Contreras, which I would love to see. I would love to see the Contreras brothers start, because I think they're both absolutely talented players. I think it was absolutely great what the Braves did to be able to keep William and to be able to do what they're able to do at putting him at DH, putting him in spots where he's able to flourish and able to play really well. Whether you're starting him at catcher or whether you're starting him at DH, whether you're going to give Travis d'Arnaud a night off. And speaking of night off, Dansby Swanson had the night off last night as the Braves got their tail kicked for 14-4 against the Phillies. So that was not the greatest thing to end their great June, as they went 21-6 and they matched their team record for most wins in a month going back to 1966 when they moved to Atlanta. Speaking of not 1966, but yesterday in 1965, it's Happy Falcons Day, by the way, because I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. And so congratulations to them, that historic franchise that don't get me wrong, Tommy Thomas was great, but I absolutely I just there's not much history to celebrate. There's a lot of heartbreak to celebrate in
there's a certain moment we can talk about, but I don't know if you want to go through that again.
Exactly. But going back to the Braves, when May ended, the Braves were 23-27 and 10.5 games behind first place Mets, right? They're now 44-33 and just 3.5 games back. And then they pretty much hold, if the playoffs ended today, they hold the second place spot in the wild card. But to look back at a team that got so much ridicule for going on 14 game win streak, they literally went 6-4 against the Giants, Dodgers, and Phillies. Now, if the Dodgers don't come back in that, if Jansen doesn't blow the save, and the Dodgers don't come back, they're 7-3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't sit Dansby Swanson, and everyone's kind of hurt against the Phillies, but you're playing really well anyway. You may go 8 and you may go 8-2 in that stretch against those three teams. So it's huge. You can't blame it on injuries. You can't blame it on everything like that. But you can enjoy watching young players like Michael Harris just absolutely flourish, who literally started 6 days before Ronald Acuna ever came back and was really feeling nicely in that center field spot, and still is, where in the month of June, he's hit 347 with 4 home runs. All right. He's only played 197 games in the minor leagues. So you could give him the NL player of the month for this month. If it's not Dansby Swanson, I mean, if it's not the Braves player of the month, it's Harris. But you have a good chance of between him or Dansby Swanson, as literally for this month has been absolutely amazing. I mean, it's just insane what they've been able to do. Travis Donaro's hitting 7 homers. He's got a batting average of 304 this month as well. Max Fried has had an ERA of just above 2 at over 5 starts in the month of June.
And what was it? Duvall, I mean, had what, 2 or 3? It's not going to be shown on the stat sheet, but he had what, 2 or 3 clutch hits at bat?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like game defining at bats.
Yeah. I mean, Duvall's been huge, man. I'll say this right now, and I never understood why the Braves let him go. Then he came back, and then they win a World Series with him. Yeah. And I had said this before. It was like he wants to be in Atlanta. Put Adam Duvall in Atlanta. He has, like, out of the starting guys right now, he has like the most home runs in Truist. Out of all the guys that are on there, he's like the weirdest player ever on that team. I think he might be tied with Swanson. I'm not sure. But at one time, he was a player where he had the most, and since I think it was 2018, he had the most home runs in Truist. So he loves to hit in the ballpark. He loves to play in Atlanta. Blooper loves his kid and loves him. That we cannot get. You already got rid of one. All right, that was a fan favorite. Don't get rid of another one that is just as good, and can give you some quality outfielding and can hit the ball. So it's something huge that the Braves are absolutely doing, because hopefully they can continue the same success in the month of July. They can catch the Mets. And then, we're kind of getting to that same time. It was really around the All-Star break when they're under 500. So they're starting a lot better, obviously, than they were the year before. But that's the kind of stretch that you want to see out of the Atlanta Braves in the month of June, playing I get it, it's early, but you want to play those types of teams that way, and you want to get those key victories. Like saying before, 10.5 down, so it's just if we can get the pitching, or if we can get the calls right by the umpires, we can get the calls right. And that's another thing before we go to break that we wanted to throw out there is Rob Manfred says he's likely to introduce the automatic strike zone system in 2024, because it's always Rob Manfred's fault.
Always Rob Manfred.
No matter what happens, it's always Rob Manfred's fault. And this was a great little article right here by Don Van Natta Jr. on ESPN. Who is getting questions, and it was basically, it's billionaires fighting with millionaires. It was just literally 90 days of just BS the entire time, and seeing guys get out of their car all prettied up and everything like that to sit around for 3 or 4 hours or 5 hours and not do anything, and then give us, a heart attack of whether, baseball's starting or not. But half the time, this is what Rob Manfred said. He said, "I'm getting killed out there. Getting killed has become a fact in Manfred's professional life. On social media, Manfred's moves and motives and his goofs have become 24/7 targets by fans who hold him accountable for every conceivable problem. A crew of umpires forgets a pitch count and needs 4 minutes, 15 seconds to figure it out. Mistake-prone umpires, Manfred's fault. a potential walk-off homer dies on the warning track. Dead baseballs, Manfred's fault. A 40-year low crowd of 2488 attends a game in Oakland. Fans are boycotting a low payroll team playing in a ramshackle stadium. Manfred's fault. All right, Manfred's getting knocked for everything that are arguably out of his control. So I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's so funny that even the whole the whole problem with the Oakland A's, it's Rob Manfred's fault. It's for as much as he's been a moron and an idiot, Rob Manfred definitely deserved a lot of it, but he doesn't deserve a lot of this other crap. This whole umpire stuff, the Oakland A's not being able to have a team, just go to LA. You are literally, and that's another thing. The MLB has waived their relocation fee for them to move to Las Vegas if they want to. So just go ahead and move to Vegas. All right. Move Tampa Bay to Nashville because there will be more fans, especially from around here. Because if they become the Nashville whatevers, Rays, let's just say Nashville Devil Rays, go back to the Devil Rays. How about that? Even though there's not any Devil Rays in Nashville. Go at the aquarium probably. But be the Nashville Devil Rays. You know how many Atlanta fans would travel to Nashville rather than having to drive? I mean, I get it. Truist is amazing. It's only 3 hours away. But if you could drive 2.5 hours to watch your any professional baseball team that plays Nashville, it's way better than having to go down to Tampa Bay where they only care about football and they only care about hockey because they were almost, two games away from winning the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, I feel like they should. I mean, they were just that was just winning back to back. That was just on them. So, I mean, give a lot of credit to the Avalanche for being able to close it out. So, I think when we look at that, it's going to be crazy. I don't think it's necessarily always Rob Manfred's fault. I'm not defending Rob Manfred, so nobody call in and be like, "Oh, you're defending Rob." No, I will never defend that man. But I just wanted to kind of break that down before we go to break, and then we're going to come back after break. Like I said before, we're going to get a little short conversation before we're just going to go ahead and sign it off now. We're going to finish the show with Thom Abraham's conversation with Greg Sankey from last year at SEC Media Days, as it was a good little conversation around the height of when Texas and Oklahoma made their decision to join the SEC, as we're on the kind of the eve of USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten. So thank you so much for listening to us this week. I'm out of here. Bailey's out of here. We're going to get out of here. Please follow us everywhere on social media. Hit up the zone deals as well before we get out of here as well. If you hit up those zone deals, there are only 4 left of Metro Diner. There are 4 remaining. So go to wzzn.halfoffdeal.com. Check that out. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, so you can catch our live shows anytime that we're live. This is Chad Gwathney and Bailey Lowry taking over the Thom Abraham Show. Everyone have a good weekend. See you later, everybody.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Ahead of UFC 276 Saturday in Vegas, Israel Adesanya, a -500 favorite to remain the middleweight champion against +350 underdog Jared Cannonier. In the other title bout, Alexander Volkanovski -210 in his featherweight title defense against Max Holloway at +165. Just 8 weeks until the start of college football season, Alabama opening as a 38-point favorite in the season opener at home against Utah State September 3rd. Auburn opening up at home against Mercer. The Braves in Cincinnati this weekend. Game 1 against the Reds tonight. Max Fried to start. Atlanta a -201 moneyline favorite. Cincinnati +174. The total set at 9.5.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Brooks & Collier have been serving North Alabama for the past 76 years, and going on now is the biggest 4th of July sales event ever. Save on a large selection of patio umbrellas, furniture, and grills like the world's best smoker and grill, the Big Green Egg. Brooks & Collier is partnered with Synchrony Bank and now offer deferred interest for 12 months. So make your backyard more comfortable this summer and save at the Brooks & Collier 4th of July sales event, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by